have been invited, Watson.
We have? Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars annual
Çevirileri
dinner.
kanalından
They sent us an
herkese merhaba. Sherlock Holmes'un yepyeni bir davasıyla karşı karşıyayız. Ve davamızın ismi Yarım Ay Yürüyüşü. Hadi bakalım, bu büyük ihtimalle son davamız bu oyundaki. İzleyen herkese şimdiden keyifli seyirler dilerim. YouTube kanalıma abone olup videoyu da beğenmeyi unutmayalım. Sherlock Holmes'un son davası başlıyor.
invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's
Sıkıntı
on
yok.
Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very
Wiggins,
well.
orada olacağım. Rahat ol. Karakola gidelim. Bir abisini sorgulayalım. Sol üst köşede İngilizcesi yazıyordu.
Mr. Holmes,
Half Moon
whatever
Street.
brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Bakalım.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Lestrade. Thank you, Lestrade. Olay mahalli incele ve tanıklarla konuş. Önce bir şeylerimizi inceleyelim. Kanıt odasında.
These
Birkaç
cigarettes are
dal
filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing
sigara.
interesting.
Elma mı? Elma ne alaka ya?
A cheap
Saat.
watch, bought with his own money, no doubt.
Elmayı niye
So
inceleyelim?
this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon.
Bir inceleyelim.
It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
Bir tane boşluk var burada. Hop, 2 tane varmış.
2 out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Tamam, bunu anladık zaten. 2 el ateş edilmiş. 2 cinayet söz konusu. Elma ile alakalı bir şey yok. Elma niye orada, onu da anlamadım. Ya büyük ihtimalle yemeği çocuğun. Lingham,
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Bunu yapsan iyi olur ama önce senin bir karakter analizini yapalım. Scarface. Derin yara. Sokakta büyümek. Göz mor. Dudak patlamış. Gösterişli atkı ha? Dövme. Yanlış tuşa bastık. Burayla işim yok. Hikayeni dinleyelim.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
Güzel hikaye.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it. And then I followed the third man.
Devam et bakalım.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
Peki bu üçüncü adam.
Are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Yakında görüşmek dileğiyle. Genç adam. Buraya geleceğiz. Karakter analizini yaptık. Kitabını okurken Sherlock'u gördük. Watson.
Holmes, poor little Wiggins needs our help.
Evet. Evet. Yol buradan değil. Aşırı karanlık. var. Evet, cesetler burada.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes. Is that
Mr.
you?
Holmes.
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
Bu iş giderek
You spoke
karmaşık
of
taşıyor.
statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
Hadi bakalım. İfadeler alındı mı?
Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honour of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Şimdi ışık var herhalde.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Şunları bir inceleyelim. Tabaklar. Sıkışmış nesne, ağaç parçası.
A
Bu
piece
nedir?
of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look.
Sopa.
This shard of wood is quite new.
Dursun, lazım olur. Kafadan vurulmuş.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
Sol cebinde anahtar. Güzel.
This is an ordinary key.
Bir de bu vatandaşı inceleyelim.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound.
Tıpkı Chapman'ın da dediği gibi.
A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there. Brian Vercotti and Leighton Chapman both have identical Westgate Prison tattoos. They were most likely...
Evet, birbirlerini tanıyor olabilirler ama tanımama ihtimalleri de var.
Brian Vercotti suffered greatly.
Acı çekerek ölmüş bu dayı. Evet, burada bir şeyler var. Sopa.
A fairly long pole with a forked end.
Burası geldiğimiz nokta. Şöyle bunda konuştuk. Şuraları bir inceleyelim şöyle hafiften.
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Ryan Turner.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up, I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand, and I rushed towards the window. I looked down, and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Başka kimse var
Mr.
mıydı?
Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
Turner.
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment.
Kaçtıktan sonra
Mr.
ne oldu?
Turner, what were your actions
yaptın? Bana
after
bir
you
anlat
stepped
bakalım.
up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with the gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming into Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
Evet, duyarlı vatandaş. Aferin. Turner, sende de bir değişiklik var gibi ama sana pek güvenmiyorum. Bilgin olsun. Çengel madalya, kar maskesi, Kırım Savaşı, savaş kıdemlisi. Cepte bir şey var mı? Yok. Yardım gerekiyor, zayıf ayak. Topallamamak. O yüzden yaslanıyor. Oğlum düğme. Kayıp düğme. 2 kere
You have
döndük
helped
ya.
us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Şimdi bir de çiçekçiyle konuşalım. Watson.
Mrs. Howell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony.
Bir de bana ver.
Very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Başka kimseyi
Did you
görmedim.
see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
Silah
Mrs.
sesi.
Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Yani mantıklı.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Teşekkürler. Bir diyalogumuz daha var. Gidip şeyle konuşmam lazım. Chapman'la.
I'll do anything to
Ama
save my brother,
bana
Mr. Holmes.
suçlu bu
I'm
gibi
so
geliyor.
glad that the murderer has been caught.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
Şimdi buradan gidiyoruz. Önce bir çıkarımlarımızı yapalım. Chapman'ın anlattığına göre bir tane de hayali bir adamımız var. Şimdi şöyle gidiyoruz. Scotland Yard'a. Daha fazla bakacağımız bir şey yok. Şu oğlanla bir konuşalım.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless...
Bak oğlum bana her şeyi anlat.
Revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Yalan söylüyorsun bak bana.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
Oğlum niye
You
her
have
şeyi
a typical
anlatmıyorsun lan bana
tattoo of the
yavşak?
Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same
Sana
one
hiç yardım edesim
upon
gelmedi
Mr.
lan şu an.
Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Ya bak sende bir sıkıntı var dostum. Hadi bakalım. Yarım sokağına merhaba. Hoppa bir hop yaptım. Döndüm geldim. Selamun aleyküm.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Hayırdır la oğlum? Şşt, çocuğun artistik yapıyorsun la düdük. Evet. Tetikçiyi seç. Tetikçi bu. Yok tetikçi bu. Aynen. Sonra bu. Bence böyle.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
İşte burada. Bununla yükselteceğiz.
This should be useful.
Bu karından vuran adam oradan vurduğunu düşünüyorum ben.
This is most
Aynen,
definitely
mermisi
a
burada.
bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh.
Tıpkı tahmin ettiğim gibi.
There was a third shot fired in this street.
Evet, bir çıkarım daha bulduk. 3. atış, 2 kurban. Evet, burada. Bakalım, devam. Bir şeyler oturuyor kafamızda yavaş yavaş. Şimdi şu vatandaşla bir konuşalım.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Adamımız topal.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Şömine. Bir şeyler ateşe
This
verilmiş.
fire is dying out. It was last
Ateş.
tended to over an hour ago.
Küller. Yanmış bir kağıt. Hoppa, ver bakalım sayfa
The
ne diyor?
papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Biraz önce. Kitap rafları. Baston. Bastonun ucu kırık.
A perfect match.
Nice. Mükemmel eşleşme.
Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims. The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago. Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Güzel. Burada daha fazla bakabileceğim bir şey yok. Bu tarafa geçelim. Mutfak bıçağı.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp.
Mutfak bıçağı, sürpüntü. Parçalanmış kağıt. Allah Allah.
There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
Evet. Bakalım bunlar hakkında ne diyeceksin? Aslan. Pencereyi de inceleyelim. Pencereyi aç.
So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly. and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Çubuğu kır. Cesede yaklaş. Bir şey al. Çubuğu kır. Hayır dur. Bir de ya dur oğlum. Bir bu. Tamam. Hayır ya bu 3. Bu cesede yaklaş 1. Babuş bak yataktan kalktı. 1. Camı açtı 2. Şurası doğru. Bak buraya kadar doğru. Ondan sonra çubuğu yerleştirdi. Kağıtları kesti. Fırlattı. Bir daha. Hızlan. Tempo. Aynen devam ki. Koy bastonu. Aynen
So
böyle oldu
Mr.
işte.
Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find?
Evet. Kitaplar. Yağlı izler.
I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look.
Bakalım. Moby Dick.
Well now,
Bu ne?
what a find. A precious jewel concealed inside a book.
Bu neymiş ya böyle?
A bracelet with a unique ram's head design. A distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Güzel. Tamam şimdi şununla bir konuşalım.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly despite my age, and when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
Haydi. Yanlış.
Well, I'm able to move very quickly despite my age, and when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something, but it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
And
Anlat
what of
bakalım.
everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Bak oğlum yalan söyleme lan. Antika bileklik
Mr.
ne?
Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Bilekliği çaldığını kabul etti. Bileklik hakkında soruşturma yap. Arşivlerde ara. Peki bu anahtar nereye açıyor? Esas soru o. Yani arabanın arkasında bulur muyuz arşivi ya? Bir zamanlar vardı. Bulamazmışız. Baker sokağına doğru gidiyoruz. Çıkarımlarımıza bir bakalım biz bu arada. Kaybolan adam. Aynen öyle. Kaybolan adamı bulacağız bir de. Devam Q'ye. Şimdi arşiv araştırmamızı bir yapalım. Bakalım bileklik neymiş. Dövüş sanatları, izler, semboller, kafa tazı, çapraz kemikler, bilmem ne çomağı, burada değil, gazetelerde değil. Ansiklopedilerde olabilir. Sanat ve mimarlık, Helenistik yapı. Bay Turn'un dairesinde bulunan antika bileklik kendine özgü koçbaşlarıyla süslenmiş. Yani sanat ve mimarlık.
That is not the one
Ya Allah'ım bu mudur ya?
it is. I need to continue my research in my archives.
Ne arıyoruz şimdi? Helenistik hazineler koleksiyonuna ait olan kadim eserleri kayboluyor. Gazetelere bakacağız. Okey. Şurada bulmuştuk. 1885'te görmüştük. Şu.
Here it is.
Aynen bu.
One of the
Okey.
victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Tefeci dükkanına geldik. Gidip şu tefeciden bu bileklik hakkında birazcık bilgi alalım ve Vikings'in abisini bakalım kurtarabilecek miyiz? Kodes'ten bir onu öğrenelim. Sonra anahtarın kullanım yerini araştıracağız. Ortalık 56. Alem var içeride. Rehinci dükkanı.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Butler bir nevi tefeci. Rehinci. Etrafı inceleyelim. Raflar.
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
İlgimizi çeken bir obje. Raflar gene. Bir inceleyelim bakalım
A
neler
flare
çıkacak.
pistol.
Fişek
Perhaps it
tabancası.
was pawned by a destitute sailor.
Kolye.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
Bir mektup. Okey. Devam. Çekmeceyi aç.
It looks as though Mr.
Hesap defteri.
Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Hesap defteri. Başka da bir şey yok. Gibi. Şimdi sokağa geri dön. Memurla konuşacağız. Hadi bakalım. Memur.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like you.
People like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh, no? Then where did you get whatever it is that you're gnawing on? I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
Oğlum çocuğa baskı yapıp durma bak seni şamarlarım lan. Böyle var ya.
Constable
bak
Marrow,
diye.
I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Saklambaç mı oynayacağız?
No, this is not how I walked at the time of the crime. I was more attentive. Let's start over again.
Allah Allah. Böyle değilmiş yürümesi cinayet saatinde. Böyle miydi?
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Okey. Hadi bakalım, hadi bakalım.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Hadi Sherlock. Buraya mı saklandın bu defada?
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Peki. Tefeci dükkanına geri dönelim. Gidip şu havai fişek işaret tabancasıyla dağcı ekipmanlarını alacağız. Biraz hızlı. Selam. Şimdi şunu ver bana.
These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Thank you. Şimdi bir de buradan rafları incele.
This is exactly what we need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks.
Şimdi bunları aldık. Gidelim. Yarım ay sokağa. Gidelim bu cinayeti çözelim artık. Memur. Bak gene o çocukla uğraşma.
Wiggins, my lad, what are you doing here? You'd best be leaving and be quick about it.
I've done nothing wrong. You'd learn more by watching Mr. Holmes. He knows exactly what he's doing. Not like you.
Oi, watch your tongue.
Oğlum bak sana gıcık olmaya başladım ha.
Constable Marrow, Watson, I would like to perform another kind of reenactment with your help.
I'm listening, Mr. Holmes.
I want to check if Leighton's testimony can be trusted. If someone could vanish into thin air at a specific moment.
But Holmes, I don't see how.
I am going to be the mysterious gentleman whom Leighton followed. I will stand exactly where he saw him before he was blinded by the flash. Watson, you will be Leighton. When I fire the signal flare, you should start to chase me.
I understand, Holmes.
You, Constable Marrow, just play your part and do exactly as you did. Just, please, wait 5 seconds after the signal flare. I doubt that Polly Powell would have screamed any earlier.
As you say, Mr. Holmes.
Let us begin then. Catch me if you can.
Hadi bakalım.
The moon illuminates this wall. Anyone trying to climb it would be easily spotted by Constable Marrow. This wall is cast in shadow. It would be difficult to see anyone scaling it.
Güzel.
I can barely see anything.
Hoppa. Oğlum basıyorum ya R2'ye. Deli misin sen?
Holmes? Are you there?
I should try climbing faster.
I can barely see anything.
Hadi bakalım.
Holmes? Are you there? Where is he? My God, a man can't just disappear like that.
Oldu. Bir
Holmes?
insan böyle kaybolabilir.
Holmes? Where are you?
I cannot see you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, it seems that Mr. Holmes has disappeared.
Don't worry, gentlemen, I am up here, above your heads.
How on earth did you get up there, Holmes?
I am using crampons and a climbing axe, although the person we are looking for did not leave any traces of such tools. Constable, is there any way to get to the top of this building?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I can show you. The door to the building can be found from Whitechapel Street.
Gentlemen, I am on my way down.
Hadi bakalım. Buradan çıkıyoruz ha. Tavan arasını incele. Okey. Okey.
These shards
Cam
of glass
kırıkları.
are from the window above.
Çatı penceresi. Kıyafet. Yırtık pırtık kumaş. Siyah iplikler.
A cluster of thick black threads. They're unusually strong. I should examine them under the microscope.
Evet, mikroskop altında bunu inceleyeceğiz. Tamam, başka?
Someone
Çatı
broke through the
penceresi.
window to get inside the attic, but in his haste he ripped his jacket.
Okay.
We can conclude that the person whom Leighton saw climbed up the wall, broke into the attic window, and escaped through the hatch.
Aşağıya inelim geri. Tavan arasını incele, tamamlandı. Bir Baker sokağına geri gideceğiz. Gidelim, analizimizi bir yapalım bakalım. Analiz. Devam edelim. Şurada bir inceleyelim.
Let us take a closer look. It is not a thread, but a hair. I very much doubt that it is human. I need to compare this sample with a human hair and a horse hair. A shaving brush is usually made from horsehair. Watson, could you please pass me your shaving brush?
Here you are.
Watson, look, what's outside the window?
Well, I don't see anything. Ouch! Holmes!
Oh, don't make such a fuss. One little hair.
Evet, bir inceleyelim bakalım kılları.
The horsehair is thinner than the hair that we found.
İnsan saçı da daha ince.
Is significantly thinner than the black sample. So, this black hair belongs to an animal, and it is larger than a horse. A hair from a large and exotic animal.
Gidelim ufaklığın yanına. Yine polis Wiggins'le takışıyor büyük ihtimalle. Aynen.
Look here, lad. You'd better go home and start thinking about what a fine pickle your brother's landed himself in.
Ha! But he'll be free tonight, 'cause he's innocent.
Don't be daft, lad. It's a closed case.
Bakacağız. Kapandı mı kapanmadı mı? Bakacağız.
Mr. Holmes?
We have good news for you, Wiggins. The investigation has proven very interesting so far. We found facts and details that confirm your brother's innocence.
I knew it, Mr. Holmes.
But for now, Wiggins, we need your help.
Anything you like, Gov.
I need you to locate a circus that has stopped over in London. It needs to have disposed of at least one exotic animal, a very large one.
You can count on me, Mr. Holmes.
Hadi bakalım. Gidelim şu sirki bir inceleyelim. Ertesi sabah çok erken.
I do hope that those children don't get into trouble, Holmes.
Don't worry, Watson. I predict some news in 7 seconds.
1 2
Mr. Holmes, we found it. Here it is.
And
Fil
this
resmi.
is a young Indian elephant, the highlight of the show. Duval Brothers, a well-known travelling circus that is currently stopped in London. I believe that is exactly the type of circus we are looking for. I'll pay it a visit.
Sirke gidiyoruz. Hadi bakalım. Devam edelim.
Aye, you! Stop right there.
Good morning, sir. Pardon me, but why am I not allowed to walk around here?
Because it's private.
Well, I only wanted to meet the artistes.
You're wanting to apply for... Nah, you don't look like the type of artistic lockpicker that we're looking for.
You might be surprised.
What? Nah, I don't think so. Clear off.
Nerede ya kilit?
You're a bit slow to catch on. You're a bit slow to catch on, eh?
Sirke girebilmek için kılık değiştir. Lan. Bakalım gardıropta neler çıkacak bize. Gündelik takım, siyah takım, yeşil takım, gri takım, açık, haydut kıyafeti. Çiftçi kıyafeti, sabahlık, denizci kıyafeti. Haydut olur. İş yapar. Saç makyaj. Tiplere bak. Ya, sakallı olsun. Şimdi
Spectacles are unpopular among thugs. I don't want to arouse suspicion.
Tamam lan, çıkartırız gözlükleri, ne olacak sanki. Düdük.
Stay where you are. What are you doing here, and where is Sherlock Holmes?
Calm down, Watson. Take deep breaths now. It's me.
Oh, thank God, Holmes. I can't get used to your disguises.
Thank you, Watson. That means I am ready to go.
Gitmeye hazırız. Okey. Kılığımızı da değiştirdik. Sirkeye bir girelim.
Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Nigel. I'm here to open the locks.
Talented, eh? Let's see. Go inside the marquee and show yourself to Charles Foley. And I'd highly advise you not to trick him. Got that?
I've got it.
Sıkıntı yok, sen rahat ol.
Charles Foley.
Sus. Oynayabiliyor muyuz bunlarla ya? Oynayamıyoruz.
So, everything is here just as you asked. And what about the money? Some of the barrels are wet. Transportation issues, it couldn't be helped. Whatever. We'll be here after midnight to pick up the supplies. I want to be paid first. No. You'll be paid after we make the transfer, as I said. Right? I hope that no one saw you. The police are on the lookout.
Of course not. I'm a professional.
Glad to hear it. Be ready for tonight then.
Pekala, pekala. Bir araştıralım buraları. Şöyle bir dolanalım etrafında. Variller.
This wooden barrel is damaged. It is difficult to say what is inside.
İlgini çeken obje.
There is a spot on this barrel that was intentionally painted out. The crest of the Honorable Artillery Company. Could it be gunpowder? I need to be sure. Judging by the fractions and the scent, I can confirm that it is, in fact, gunpowder. The barrels are roughly clustered. It seems as though they were brought here in a hurry.
Peki başka neler var buralarda? Matbaa ha?
This printing press is old, but still quite capable of printing hundreds of pages per day.
Poster.
That's a picture of a contemporary gentleman wearing a Robin Hood hat. Interesting. From lambs into lions.
Koyunlardan
Those are words
aslanlara.
of encouragement
Meydan
and
okumanın ve
defiance.
cesareti
This
sözleri.
poster was clearly made to fire up rebellion amongst the people. There are enough posters to paste across half of London's walls.
Peki.
Powder kegs, a printing press, and a great many blank papers. All of this was stolen by the Merry Men quite recently. And these poster samples. I am quite sure it is not a coincidence. The Merry Men are planning some sort of sabotage.
Stop
Nereye?
right there. Who are you?
Are you Charles Foley?
Maybe.
They say that I can open any door.
Do they now? We'll see that lock near the chains on a table over there. Open that.
Tipini inceleyelim senin. Tipsiz. Evet. Bir kolye. Anahtar. Korunaklı bir kasa. Kan. Yakınlarda bir sıkıntı yaşamış. Silah. İçi dolu. Tefeci. Boş başlı yüzük. Aha, nice. Adamımız bu. Aynen öyle. Aradığımız adam sensin dostum. Evet, kilidimizi açalım şimdi. Şimdi oldu. Doğru yapmışız aslında ama sadece hareket ettirmemişiz. Açtık babuş kilidi. Ha, buyur.
I need
Aslan.
to find out what's behind this Charles Foley.
Tamam, açtım kilidi. Ne yapacağım? Daha fazla ne yapabilirim?
Ah. Well, they're right. What's your name?
Nigel Shirley from York.
Yok.
Nigel from York. Never heard anything about you. How'd you hear about me?
Kapı anahtarı. Lan ne alakası var kapı anahtarıyla?
Ah, Nigel from York.
Hata
Never heard
yaptık.
anything about you. How'd you hear about me?
Hapse
It's a long
atılmış yasız.
story. I met your brother, Vincent the Butcher Foley, in prison. He told me all about his betrayal and all about you. Before I was released, he told me that you might find a job for me one day and pay me some money for my craft.
Well, he died 7 days ago in prison.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. The traitor has paid the blood price for it. And you'll do the job anyway, because I need a talented lockpicker. I know just where to search for his legacy.
It's all about the Hellenistic treasures, isn't it?
Osh, you fool. Now, listen up. You'll come with us tonight, and you better mind yourself.
Us? Wait, who's coming then?
Billy, Jack and me.
And what will I get for that?
We'll share the loot. The one you seem to know about.
Right.
Wait for us at the abandoned manor house on a corner of Ladbroke Grove and Kensington Park Road at midnight.
Deal.
Okey. Şimdi gizli kilidi bul ve incele. Hadi bakalım bir malikaneye gidelim. Devam et.
Here I am at the manor. Somewhere inside it are the Hellenistic treasures. This lock is quite old. It shouldn't be.
Hadi bakalım. Nice.
I need to find where the safe is hidden and lockpick it.
Şöyle bir evi gezelim. Bir evi gezelim. Kitap rafı.
This cupboard is an absolute mess.
Bu dolap çok dağınık. Evet, birazcık dağınık. Çıt çıt çıt çıt hemen hızlıca bakalım. Yerde kitaplar var.
Several books have fallen from the shelves. It seems as though this cupboard.
Dolap hareket ettirilebilir gibi duruyor. Kasa. Nice.
So, that's the lock I must open tonight. Let me see.
Hadi bir bakalım. Kasayı bir açalım, bir zorlayalım. Wow, wow, wow. Şöyle yaparsam. Nice. Açıldı. Açıl susam açıl.
What a surprise. Another lock. And I won't be able to pick it. I recall that precious key around Foley's neck. It might prove a decent fit. I suppose they hired me to only open the first lock. Let us wait for the thieves, trap them, and find out. Let us check the thieves' possible escape routes in the event that they are caught off guard by the police from the front door.
İnceleyelim şöyle evi.
The ground
Pencere.
floor window is a perfect way to escape the police.
Bölme.
This hatch leads to a cellar. This door
Kapı.
is a perfect means of escape in an emergency.
Mutfak kapısı.
This door leads to a kitchen, which holds the shortest route to the back door.
Dolap.
This works very well. No one will escape through this window now.
Nice. Soba.
A solid rope.
Sert halat.
This door is a perfect means of escape in an emergency.
Köşe.
This should be useful.
Bakalım başka.
This door is a perfect means of escape in an emergency.
Bölmeyi incele. Aç.
There is no ladder. If anyone falls here, he will need assistance to get out.
Şimdi mutfak kapısını halletmem lazım anladığım kadarıyla. Avize.
I wonder what this old chandelier is doing on the floor. It looks as though it was poorly attached. I suppose
Çekiç.
that the thieves already tried to open the lock with this formidable hammer, but they were unsuccessful.
Halı. He. Halıyı serelim,
This
lazım
should be
olacak.
useful.
Bunu al. Bunu al bunu. Halıyı gizle.
Now,
Halıyla.
it's not an open hatch, just a nice carpet on the floor. I should
Kapıyı kapat.
The door is now blocked.
Evet.
Now, if a thief runs through the kitchen, he'll pay a surprise visit to the cellar.
Güzel. Ya yukarı kata giderse ve çekiç ne işe yarıyor?
What a
Bunu açamıyoruz şu an.
The door is now...
Kapı engellendi. Güzel. Avize avize. Üst kata bir bakalım.
Although this window is high above the ground, it would be possible for one of the thieves to attempt to use it for their escape.
Masa.
This should be useful.
Neye yararlı olacak?
Although this window is high above the ground, it would be possible for one of the thieves to attempt to use it for their escape.
Boncuk kolye.
One step on these beads, and our thief will go flying. I should walk carefully here, else my plan will be ruined. Any thief who finds his way upstairs will roll down very quickly.
Balyozu yok etmem mi lazım?
The door is now blocked. I suppose...
Ben bu şeyi ne yapacağım ya? Tamam mı hoca? He.
This should be useful.
Ben almadım mı ipi ya? Aldım ya oradan. Evet, şunları birleştireceğiz büyük ihtimalle.
Now, if anyone takes the hammer, the rope...
Güzel, kafaya inecek. Okey. Canlandır. Hop gel bakalım. Al.
If he runs through the dining room and takes a sledgehammer to force open the door, the chandelier will knock him down. The traps for my circus companions are all prepared. I can leave now, but I'll return later with Charles Foley and his companions.
Okey, tuzaklar kuruldu, her şey hazır. Yarım ay yürüyüşü devam. Sonuca giden yol.
Police! Police!
Okey, biri orada, biri orada, biri de orada.
Stop where you are.
Where are they?
Trapped, Watson, with your assistance.
How so?
You sounded just like a real Bobby, my dear fellow. You startled them into the traps.
I did?
I assure you, Watson, it was quite an entertaining show. They will not escape the house now.
You scum!
And this is the pistol used for the murder in Half Moon Street.
How do you know about that?
Have you closed the case yet, Sherlock?
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Did you follow me?
Sherlock, it may seem that I used you, but you should be pleased to know that you have served our queen well, in this instance. So now, let us catch the big fish. But this man is not one of the merry men.
No.
Then why exactly are we here, Sherlock?
This gentleman, Charles Foley, has been involved in a double murder, and the hunter of a set of valuable antiques, the Hellenistic treasures, which disappeared in a theft many years ago.
You're no better than the coppers.
Kasayı aç. Vay vay vay. Tarih
That is
eserlere bak.
incredible. The Hellenistic treasures.
Indeed.
Nothing but trifles. Where are the merry men?
I don't know why you are asking me, Mycroft. They are yours to find.
I'll see you soon, dear brother.
Yakında görüşeceğiz sevgili kardeşim. Görüşelim.
Don't move, you.
Hareket etme seni dolandırıcı. Uzun zamandır kayıp sanat eşyaları, kıymetli hazine ve güps. Foley'in intikamı. Foley'i serbest bırak, Foley'i tutukla. Charles Foley yarım ay sokağındaki çifte cinayetle alakası olan Helenistik hazinenin çalınmasını organize etti. Larrington Chapman cinayetin görgü tanığıydı. Foley'i serbest bırak, Foley'i tutukla. Serbest bırak kısmında Foley büyük bir soygun organize etmekten hapse atıldı. Cinayetin direkt suçlusu olmadığından cezası hafifletilecektir. Foley'i tutukla. Hainin intikam planını organize etti, hayata geçirdi. Kadim ve değerli hazinenin çalınmasında katılırsa asılmayı hak ediyor. Asalım. Yes.
Charles Foley, you committed the crime of premeditated murder and of theft. You will be severely punished for your deeds.
You are pitiful. You Scotland Yard dog.
Save your words for the gallows. I'm sure the journalists will love them. I shall leave now, Watson. Gentlemen, please take our friends here into custody.
Where are you going?
I have unfinished business. I'll see you at Baker Street.
Yarım kalmış bir işim var. Baker Street'te görüşürüz. Devam edelim bakalım. Nereye gidiyor Sherlock?
Be careful with the lamps. Don't bring them too close to the barrels.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Who's there?
Bunlar kim?
That is of no
He,
importance.
bunlar da o
What
adamlar.
matters is who you are and the plans that you have here.
So you can stop us from carrying them out?
Eventually, yes.
Hey, careful. You'll blow us all up.
I'm listening.
We are a group known as the Merry Men. But I suppose you knew that already. We are the men who've already lost everything of value in their lives. We are ruined shopkeepers. We are workers who were fired from their jobs. Honest people who were robbed. We
Mycroft'un
were forced out from
istediği
our
adamlar
homes and
bunlar.
thrown onto the street. And all of this in the name of the so-called law. The laws that were set out by our government. The laws that make the commoners only more vulnerable and the wealthy more protected. We are not only from the British Empire. Some of us are from the New Lands, America, Australia, and we are many. But men we are still, and we are merry for that we stopped being afraid.
Ne
For
anlatıyorsun be
those
abi
powers
sen?
that be had done their best to
Ne
plant
anlatıyorsun
fear
ya?
inside our souls, and we accepted it so easily. The fear advised us to keep our heads bowed. It prevented us from fighting. Bankers and politicians, they own our lives, our work, our bread, and they push us to compete between each other just to see who may serve them better. But in the end, they are the few, so they are weak. They are nothing without their titles. We should not fear them. Our so-called masters should fear us instead. The time has come for our group to stand tall. Our great and many merry men. We are going to blow up the London Stock Exchange. No lives shall be lost. But ownerships, debts, and property titles? They shall all be destroyed. They're only papers, after all. So many people will be freed over this night.
That is a radical step to take. What result do you truly expect?
Chaos. But soon people will understand that they are free, and that they don't belong to anyone. They will be able to work for themselves, together, without letting the rulers dictate what to do, and finally justice will arise.
What you are intending to do is a crime. It is not justice.
How do you see justice, then? Kids go to prison for a loaf of dry bread. And how many lords do you see punished for stealing from their people, sending them to their deaths in mines or overseas to fight for land? Our masters wouldn't hear us. So now it's time to sing the song of the merry men. Will you let us do our duty?
Hayır, izin vermeyeceğim. Terör lan bu. Başka bir seçeneğim var mı? Bakıyorum şöyle. Su mu dökebiliyorum? Üzgünüm.
When people fight the order, they are too blind to see the consequences that throw society into chaos. I shall stop your actions, but not you. Run. Now!
Hoppa! Zbam! Çüş. Evet, cinayeti çöz tamamlandı.
So, you're interested in Russian literature now.
Demek ki artık Rus edebiyatıyla ilgileniyorsun
It
bu
is an
aralardan.
interesting
İlginç bir
book.
kitap. Birkaç
I
sayfasını
remember a few
hatırlıyorum.
lines.
Really? I tried reading it myself, but I had a hard time understanding it.
Yes, Doctor. It's about intelligence. Sherlock, I vaguely recall one of the lines. Sometimes it takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. There were also a few words along the lines of, pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Tell me, Doctor, does my brother show any signs of pain or suffering?
Not that I know of.
Because you see, Doctor, behind all of his masquerade, my brother does possess a deep heart. So deep that he does not recall where he places his love.
Minecraft'ı daha güzel
His love and his
çizebilirler
duty
diye
that,
düşünüyorum.
in the first place, should be directed towards the Empire. For without it, we would be nothing. A country filled with uncivilized men.
And the Empire needs order and discipline. It has no room for chaos.
People who commit crimes, or at the very least intend them, deserve punishment, Sherlock. Without justice, there can be no
Adalet
civilization.
olmadan
But we
medeniyet de
serve the
olmaz.
truth, not justice.
Çok doğru bir söz.
Your truth, Doctor, that may prove immoral, allowing people to terrorize London, destabilizing the whole empire.
Terrorize only the powers whom you serve, Mycroft. Not I, not Watson, not Mrs. Hudson, not Wiggins.
Sherlock, the merry men are to be stopped.
Not by me. You created the merry men. Stop them yourself. Only make sure that you don't create 10 more merry men by arresting the one.
Good night, Dr. Watson.
Kardeş bize kızgın. Niye? Çünkü
Anything in the
adamların
post, Watson?
eylemine engel olduk.
Any
Kendilerine
clients
engel olmadık.
worthy of our attention?
Only a second reminder from Mrs. Hudson about our new neighbour. She urges you to remove your...
Oh, I don't care about that.
Holmes, the lady who will be moving in shortly has requested the use of our spare room to place all of her boxes.
Wait, what? A lady?
Evet, yarım ay yürüyüşü. Charles Foley abisinin intikamını almak için hain intikam planını organize etti ve hayata geçirdi. 2 kişinin ölmesine sebep oldu ve neredeyse masum bir adamın müebbet hapis cezasına çarptırılmasına neden oluyordu. Aslında onun takımı neşeli adamlar, yani Londra'da devrim yapmayı planlayan kişiler tarafından tutuldu. Bunun yanında yasal olarak British Müzesi'ne ait olan kadim hazinelerin çalınmasını organize etti. Asılmayı hak ediyor. Bulunan ipuçları 18 tane sonuç. Foley'in intikamı, Foley'i tutukla. Sonucumuzu kontrol ediyoruz. Doğru, 18'de 18'de ipuçlarını bulmuşuz. Gayet güzel. Kararı kabul ediyoruz ve okey. Sıralaman kanun koruyucusu. Okey. Onların suçları senin cezaların adlı kupayı da kazandık. Ve Sherlock Holmes suç ve ceza bitti. İzleyen herkese çok teşekkürler. Davalarımızın hepsini sırayla çözdük. Beğendiyseniz videoyu beğenmeyi unutmayın. YouTube kanalıma da abone olmayı unutmayalım. Diğer Sherlock Holmes oyunlarında görüşmek dileğiyle. Şimdilik bizden bu kadarlık. Diskem.tr kanalındaydınız. Sherlock davaları bitti. Görüşürüz.